All right. Bonzo has a busy day. Only time he can get to the rankings before week 5 officially begins, Thursday Night Football tonight. I'm going to do two-parter here. Two parts. Two-part rankings. Number one, just as you can see here, Team Weather Report ranks post month 1. So who's been essentially what's the story of recent for each team? What direction are they currently trending in? But then, because we've had so many injuries this year, so many changes, I'm going to end the video with a quick run through of Bondo's revised tiers, so to speak, and projections for final finishes. Because how people are doing right now in the power rankings doesn't necessarily reflect how far Bonzo thinks they can go in the playoffs based on their roster construction. So, first of all, here we have a tier for one team only. Start looking at 2025 keeper options, buddy. That's for our friend Arush. Arush. If you take a look at Arush's team, he's starting Andy Dalton and Carson Steele. Do I need to talk the rest of the squad? I don't think I do. Bucky's getting more work, but his wide receiver 1 is actually like a wide receiver 3 on other people's teams. Yeah, he's got Mixon, who's been out. When he's back, that'll be better. Maybe Devontae goes to a better squad. Obviously, CMC being out is what put this team in the toilet. 0-8 start. I don't think there's anything else to say. This might not be a team, like by week 10, you might not want to play Arush's team if CMC comes back and Devontae's on a new squad. But for right now, there's nothing he can do. I don't think he can do anything to overtake those victory points he's already lost out on. It's blizzard cold for these next squads here. Not been good. Coob's team. Now, why do I say that for Coob's team? Why is his ranking bad? Well, he's all the way down here. Look at his points scored. He's, along with Arush, is the only person to not crack 400 points on the season, right? So just data says his team isn't doing well. And then you look at it, besides his Dak and CD Lamb stack, I mean, Evans has been doing well, but McBride's been hurt. He's getting T. Higgins back. Okay, that's good. But look at his running backs. These are two of the worst running backs that I can imagine starting in this league. Maybe he gets Brooks back. Yeah, Pollard's on bye this week, but even Pollard, when you sub him in, he's been getting a lot of work, but I think that team's bad, and it's going to continue to do worse. Team just has no pop. Jerry Jeudy at the flex. Like, what are we doing? Just week to week at every position, he just has a small, slight disadvantage to everyone except for at the CD Lamb and maybe except for sometimes Mike Evans. The early pick on McBride is not really paying off. He's been hurt / when he's been playing, he's not performing like tight end 1. So Cube's team's been cold. Obviously, we'll get Puka back someday, but that's why he's in the blizzard category. Who else? Chucky Dimes. This roster, Rodgers hasn't been doing well. Yeah, he's got Marvin and Gibbs and Diggs who've been doing solid, but Bowers has been on a cold streak. His flex players haven't been doing that great. As he goes into bye weeks, slightly weak bench. It doesn't look like a bad team on paper, but then when you start comparing it to other teams, you're like, oh, okay, he's at a clear disadvantage. He's been on a cold few weeks. And obviously Waddle, Tua being out has been a big hit to the squad, and who knows what's going to happen with that. Dobbins is cooling off from his early season really good run, so I couldn't rank him higher. I couldn't rank him higher than 10 there. Who's it raining on? Not necessarily blizzard, but it's still not the best forecast for these teams, what they've been doing. Alvin, he's another person down there near the bottom of the rankings. Now, Jaden Daniels is great. Jaden Daniels keeping this team afloat, the current QB1. But Singletary coming back to earth. Laporta hasn't been returning on his stock. Jonathan Taylor, that whole offense looks terrible. Ramondre falling off. Now he's getting Addison back. Okay. But it looks like he's got CJ and Jaden. He spent some early picks on 2 QBs, and you can only start 1 QB. And then the rest of his team suffering, right? He's got, I don't know, maybe sometimes he wants to play Ladd. Sometimes he doesn't. I'm not too sure. He's kind of got some strength at wide receiver and then some weakness at running back, and Laporta hasn't been doing that well. Long term, maybe some more upside for this squad, but right now I just couldn't rank it higher than that. And then we got John's team. See, John, I think when the initial power rankings came out, like week 1, we saw Kyler explode, a Kamara explode, Jaden Reed explode, and we were like, wow, this team's going to be great, right? But it's been a rough couple of weeks. He might turn that around, but honestly, one of the reasons I rank this team low is I thought he lost the Ayuk trade. I think that the Jerome Ford and the Nick Chubb thing, I think maybe when Chubb comes back, it reduces Ford's production, right? Because right now he's playing 75% of the snaps, scoring around, 12, 15, 12, 10, 15 points a week. When Chubb comes back, now what? Now is he scoring 8 and Chubb is scoring 8 and whichever one falls in the end zone? I don't know. Also had to rank him down here because of Mark. He's just been terrible. Maybe brighter days ahead, but Brooks is going to come back eventually for Chuba, right? So just projecting forward, does Kamara keep on this pace that he's been at as the RB1? I don't know. Jaden Reed looks really good. So he's got a couple good pieces, but couldn't rank him higher than that. Last person in the rating tier, Troy's team. It's been good. It's just, Pittman just looks like he's going to be bad in Tyreek. And now that I'm looking at this is why I ranked him down here. Tyreek and Pitt. Now, McLaurin and Mooney have been making up for it. But he's definitely not going to be looking to start Anthony Richardson for some time. As we go into bye weeks, this bench is pretty weak. Jameson Williams, yeah, he had that pop play. But really, since, he had a cold couple of weeks, he looks like he's going to be a super boomer bust option in Troy's flex. He's going to have a hard time deciding between him, Michael Pittman, and Mooney every week. And, good luck with picking the right one. Shoot, maybe even deciding between playing him over Tyreek, right? So just I can't really talk too much more about it. Like, his running backs are good. His QB is mid. His tight end is, bottom of the tiers. And then his receivers are all mid here. This is 7. I don't know. I can't put this higher than 7. All right. Partly cloudy. We got a little sunshine coming through for these squads here. Up in the next tier, they've been doing some good things recently. Their point totals are looking good and consistent. Now, what's going right for this team? He got Jordan Love back. He got DeAndre Swift back. His Dolphins pod pick, Devon Achane. He's been, he started the season hot, and now he's been cooling off while other players have been coming back into the mix. Obviously, Cooper Kupp is still hurt, but he's been getting good production out of whoever's subbing in, Jawan Jennings. Obviously, we got the big trade. Pitts has been terrible, but now he turned Saquon and in London into Nico Collins and Kenneth Walker. So the anatomy of this team totally just changed. He got way stronger at wide receiver, which was his weak point. Got a little weaker at running back. Obviously, waiting on Kupp to come back. Looking for one of these tight ends to figure it out. But team sitting at 5-3, just got his quarterback back. DeAndre Swift looks like he'll be usable. Christian Kirk has been, low-key doing what he was drafted to do, right? Getting 10 targets a week. Nico and Kenneth are going to be great. This is the 6-6 team right now. Trending up, but, you can't do anything crazy with it. Mark's team. He's number 5. Ben just perfectly solid, right? Jefferson's good. Allen's great. His flex positions are a little bit shaky. I do like that he's got Wandale in there, as a good substitute for Rashee Rice. Now, the reason this team would have been higher, right? Because you plug in Rashee Rice and Amon-Ra St. Brown into this lineup, and you're like, whoa, he's really only got one hole, his RB2 and then his tight end, right? But now, because those, Amon-Ra's out in the bye, so that's fine. He's a normal consideration. But now Rashee being out forces him to play someone like Keon Coleman or Kareem Hunt week to week. So the Rashee injury, I couldn't put it raining for this team, even though that is something bad because they've been on a hot streak. But I couldn't put that they've been hot because you get an injury to the wide receiver 6, it is what it is. Now, Sam's team. Sam's team's been on a roll. Look at this, Sam. You ever seen a 2 next to your team name? I don't know if you have. It's always been like that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 range. He sees a 2 next to his name. He logs in. He's feeling great. He's probably actually a little offended. Bonzo, why am I at 4, partly cloudy, and why am I not, all the way up there in the rankings? Well, I don't know that Fields is going to be sustainable. He's got 3 Steelers right now, right? One of the more mid offenses in the league, and he's starting 3 players on that same team. Kyron's been good. Garrett Wilson hasn't been good. He really was carried by, did he start Goddard? I hope he did start Goddard when he went off there. Deontay Johnson is looking really good, but Hurts is looking bad, and he's going to wind up starting maybe Fields. Devontae Smith with the injury. Tank Dell's coming back, but how quickly is he going to get work? He had Charbonnet, who was carrying him the past couple of weeks, but now Kenneth is back. So lots of things going well and going not great for this team, kind of all mixed together. Lots of things in flux for him. Had to put him at 4. Who's been hot? Shelvin. Shelvin's team's been hot. Malik Neighbors. What else can you say? Breece Hall, still doing very well. Lamar Jackson, fantasy stud. Rome, looks like he's got more rapport with Caleb. Komet finally had a couple pop weeks here. He had the one pop week, right, which makes him just alone because he scored 23 points one week. He's the tight end 4, right? So he's a guy who maybe you get another pop week here and there. This guy, I saw this guy in his flex, and I was like, all right, I got to put him at hot because this guy's been hot too. So he's got just a bunch of players that are performing well. He's going to have a little depth problems, but, he's got this guy to plug in there, Brian Thomas, right? He's been doing well, so he'll probably sub him in for Christian Watson. Objectively, very good team when you look at this team. A team Bonzo was high on from the start. Not going to say anything more about that. Tyler Larson at 6-2, his team's hot, no question. Jordan Mason, anytime you can get anytime you can get the RB5 in the 11th round, it's going to be hard to mess up. Not only that, but James Conner's been getting work. Jamar Chase is back. Chris Godwin is a target hog. Kelsey, this is a good thing for Kelsey that Rashi's hurt, right? You figure Kelsey does have to get more targets in the coming weeks. He's getting Debo back. Right now, not a team you want to play and see on your schedule. A lot of things going well for it. Now, into bye weeks, who's going to be that second flex for him? Right now, he's got Jacoby in there. Imagine when he does have... look at your schedule right now and just check if you play Ty when the 49ers or the Bengals are on a bye, because that's a free W. So it looks like Ty's team is going to be very strong, but he is concentrated in a couple teams here to the effect of when the Bengals are out, he's going to be sitting Jamar and Joe. When the Niners are out, he's going to be having to sit Debo and Jordan Mason, right? So just as bye weeks are coming, that's something to think about. Looks like the Bengals are 12, the Niners are 9. All the other weeks, not a team you want to play, at least until McCaffrey's back, because he has the 2 primary beneficiaries of McCaffrey being out on this team. Just kind of worked out in his favor. You get a little lucky in fantasy football, and he got lucky, right? He invested in the non-Christian McCaffrey 49ers offense, and here he is. His team's on a roll. It's hot. Last team that's been hot is Jake's team. Now, his team has changed up a little bit because of that trade, like I mentioned. Let's see here. Mahomes hasn't been doing good, but everybody else in this team has been doing good, right? Jacobs, he used to have Nico and Kenneth, right? And they were on a super hot streak. He got Ayuk in the trade. I like the buy low on Ayuk for him. He picks up Wicks off the waiver wire even. Now he's got, this isn't even his full squad because he's got, look at these 3 studs on his bench. Barkley, Montgomery, A.J. Brown. Just insert those into this lineup, right? Insert Barkley for Rico. Insert A.J. Brown for Keenan. Insert, Montgomery for, I guess, the flex for Wicks. Like, this team is looking deep. He's made some trades, and he just drafted well. Everybody except Mahomes really on this team was a good draft pick / he made a couple trades here. So his team's been on a roll. I think it's underrated for being 4-4. And once A.J. Brown does come back, his starting lineup's going to look great. I'm going to stop this video, upload it, and I'll be back with the end of season result rankings upcoming next.